Had a chance to talk to Reggie Wayne today, and a lot of the conversation was about A.D. Mitchell. He has tremendous potential. He has a physical tool set that is different from anybody else on this team, and so trying to unlock that potential, that's Reggie Wayne's job. Where does he stand in doing that job, and where does A.D. Mitchell stand in unlocking that potential?
Just him being more consistent. That's what we talk about, right? Trying to get him to get a tattoo to see consistency, right? Not just him being consistent, having more reps at it, and taking advantage of those opportunities. I'm sure he's at a place where he feels like he can do more, but that'll come when you be more consistent and do things over and over and over again. But he's starting to come into light. He's starting to show his skills. I think we all know what he's capable of doing, and he'll get more opportunities.
You started commenting about him getting to the end zone. How much of that is like being fun, but also being for real? Like, hey, we got to make sure we.
No, it's always there's always a message in there somewhere, right? And he knows it. Everybody knows it, right? We have a thing where we talk about don't reaching, but if you're gonna reach, damn sure better score. You know what I mean? But man, it's good to see him kind of come into his own a little bit. So hopefully his role kind of increases and be able to display a little bit more.
I think like physically, when you just watch him, he stands out on your team and generally. Just what do you think about him just athletically, if he can harness it and bring it all together, and what do you see there?
I think that's one thing that he has that you can't teach. That's what I meant like weeks and weeks ago when I was talking about him. Just his style is kind of unorthodox a little bit. You know what I mean? It's kind of the way he's able to move his body out there on the field. It's not like all the rest of the guys, and he does it to a way where he could control it and get DBs out of position, So he does it, use it to his advantage, and that's one thing I don't touch. I let him keep that, and he has a unique style of finding ways to get open. So you kind of want him to continue to do that, and kind of add a little hot sauce to that at the same time.
And it's a great canvas to work with, I guess, right? Is that a fair statement for you?
Yeah, it is. It's you hope everybody on this level understands and knows how to get open. You know what I mean? And he's actually able to do that. If you watch his college film, I mean, the guy should have been one of the top receivers taken. I mean, his ability is like all the top guys. So I really feel like what he felt to us is definitely a steal. He definitely adds an element to our room that stands alone. And hopefully we can just continue to get him to come into the light just a little bit more and more as the time goes by. But he's definitely a treat to have.
And the last thing on him, I would just ask is, I know confidence matters so much for these young players. He's so young. I know there were some plays that he didn't make in the last few weeks, and I would see his body language. It's hard. I get it, right? When you make some plays and it goes the other way, how much does it matter?
Oh, man. I'm going to tell you one thing that A.D. Mitchell does not lack is confidence. That is one thing you don't have to worry about. If it's anything, it's definitely not him. My message to him that whole time was, man, we got to keep working on it. That's part of it. You know what I mean? You kind of, I try to keep at a minimum just my experience with guys and stuff. But sometimes you got to throw it in there, and mine was the same way. You just got to keep going and kind of do the extra with the quarterbacks, and then all of a sudden the quarterback could kind of understand your style, understand your flow. Remember, I said it's the way he runs his routes and stuff is kind of unorthodox. So for a quarterback, it's a little different. You know what I mean? So once you get those reps at it, they'll get used to you, and it'll all come together. So. He'd be frustrated. I mean, he gonna be frustrated whenever he don't get a ball. I mean, that goes for everybody. So. Lack of confidence, hell no.
How do you think Anthony's legs can change just the math when it comes to being a receiver in this offense?
It's a treat, right? Because for a quarterback that's not as mobile, once that pressure gets on him, it's probably going to be a sack or a throwaway, right? But with AR, he's able to keep those plays alive, right? Can turn your 5-yard route into probably a 40-yard explosive, right? Just him keeping the plays alive and you playing backyard football, just scrambling, rules and running around and finding open zones, and he's able to throw it to you. So you got that to your ability, to your advantage, and you also have, him being able to keep running himself and get you a new set of first downs.
Was the example of that the one to Josh Downs where he kind of just held the guy off? And
Absolutely. I mean, he has his wild moments. He definitely has that, right? And like I tell the receivers, right, you're always open with him. You never know, right? Just thinking back early in the year against Houston, he throws like a 70-yard bomb to Alec Pierce. Like, you're always open. So just keep running and never get too high, never get too low. But he just might do something spectacular to get you that rock. So it's definitely an advantage for us.
Apologies if you've already answered this,
Well,
but
you probably shouldn't answer. Excellent.
well, you made the semifinalist list. Talked to some of your guys in the room, and they're all in your corner. You turned Pitt into a historian. He named a bunch of your stats off. I mean, what's it like for all those guys?
I can promise you, if Pitt named a bunch of names off, he probably just saw it. So it's fresh on his mind. So I'm here, man. If they holler, they holler. If they don't, I'm still gonna be all pro dad.
That's Reggie Wayne. And if you got the feeling that he doesn't like talking about his candidacy for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you're 100% right. At some point, you kind of get to the point where you're like, you know what? It really doesn't matter to me, because you get hype for the announcement and then you get passed over, you get disappointed. You do that enough, you really stop being emotionally invested in the process. And that happens to be exactly the time that you wind up getting the call. Hopefully it happens for Reggie this year. His statistics, Hall of Fame worthy. His behavior, Hall of Fame worthy. Championship-wise, Hall of Fame worthy. And as a guy, inarguably a top 15 wide receiver in the history of the National Football League.